Hi again, this is Genevieve from the blog gracefullyhome.com, and today I want to show you some of the simple ways we use paint to update spaces in our vintage farmhouse. I'm also going to be sharing some behind the scenes of us getting our farmhouse ready for our first guests of the season. I mentioned before that there is a hillside on one side of our creek, and then there's also a half wraparound porch on our farmhouse, and that makes it very dark in the center of our farmhouse. And this office space is off of our kitchen, our family room, and also our mud room, and there are no windows in it. I really had to get creative to brighten up this space. So I used paint, and not only just on the walls, but I also used it on the doors and this hutch that we found for $100 on Facebook Marketplace. Here I am, I'm just adding the hardware back and then cleaning the glass, and I added that as well, which that really should have been done while it was on the floor, but I went ahead and did it after I had rehung the cabinet doors. But it worked out, it was fine, and it looks so much nicer now. After the office area was starting to look really nice, I made sure that I used some of the paint on the door that leads into our mudroom. The mudroom is, again, another work in progress, and I was tired of looking at that space because, like I said, my husband did some demo in there and he was working on some pipes, so I wanted to cover it up. But before I covered it up with a tablecloth that I made into a curtain, I had to paint the door. So I cleaned it first, then I painted it, I scraped off the excess paint. Here is a before of what this area looked like. You have a little glimpse of what the toy kitchen looks like. You can see how dingy that yellow looked. And now it is this nice light and airy space, very welcoming when you're going in through the kitchen from the family room, from the mud room. Now we're moving into the pantry. This pantry was a fun project because it is a very small space, but the paint on the shelves and the faux shiplap as well as the ceiling made such a huge difference in just freshening up this space and making it feel a lot bigger than it really is. And we have to keep it very well stocked because our grocery store is about 45 minutes to an hour away. So as you can imagine, I don't just run to the grocery store if I forget something. I started this project when my husband was out of town, and when he came back, a lot of it was already done. I had put up some faux shiplap. I had painted the walls and the shelves and the ceiling. I had started to remove some of the outlets because I wanted to change those out to just the plain white outlets. And then he showed me how to do that, so I ended up doing those myself with his supervision. And then also he showed me how to change out the light fixture, which was really fun. So I was just kind of adding to my DIY skills. But then he also took it up a notch where he rebuilt the counter as well as the shelves that go underneath the counter. So that space is really great storage for our canning goods and our supplies that we don't use every day. Here I am making our homemade vanilla extract, and that is really simple. I couldn't believe how simple this was when I first started doing this. I had heard one of my friends say that her mother had made it, and I just thought, wow, that's really cool. And this was like in the beginning of our homesteading journey. And now I see how easy it is. But this time I actually did something different. Normally I would slice the vanilla bean down the center and then scrape out the seeds. But on the package, it actually said that vanilla beans that are grade A, you don't really need to do that. Like, it's almost a waste of time to do that. So I went ahead and just kind of cut it into small sections and placed that in the jar. And it's working out great. We don't have a formal dining room, so this is basically where we gather together to eat all our meals. And I wanted this space to be comfortable and not just a space where this is where we serve the food. We also use this table for homeschooling. We use it for our devotionals, sometimes our family meetings, and sometimes when we're just playing games. In the master bedroom, we don't normally have our guests stay in the master bedroom, but because our guest room is now a storage room, our master bedroom was perfect because there's a bathroom that is right off of it. But there again is a lot of work that still needs to be done in here. I did eventually paint the walls to this room. It used to be a very dark green, which is a nice color. There wasn't anything like wrong about it, but it just really made the room seem dark. And with all the windows, I think there are about 8 windows in this room, you can see different areas of our homestead. It just looks right now. Since we had a couple of weeks to prepare for our guests that were arriving, there's a lot that was going on in the background that's not recorded. But I did take some time to experiment with some kamut chocolate chip cookies. And I wanted to make our einkorn chocolate chip cookies, but for some reason the berries that we purchased, they went bad. So I had to discard those and then rethink what I was going to use. And since I told the kids that I was going to make chocolate chip cookies, I basically used the kamut berries that we had. They milled just fine. It's nice to be able to have those options. If you're not familiar with kamut, It is an ancient grain. It hasn't been hybridized or like genetically modified, so it actually has a lot more nutrients and better like vitamins and minerals than your conventional all-purpose flour. It's more like wheat, so it has that kind of nutty flavor and also like the texture of wheat, but it's great because it has a lot of protein and it provides like antioxidants, so you don't really get that from regular flour. It also supports bone health and aids in like digestion as well as detoxing the body. So as you can see, it's a lot better than just your plain all-purpose flour that's been stripped of a lot of the nutrients. So if we're not able to use einkorn, I have the kamut to use. And then of course we enjoy making our sourdough. On another day, I was making our sourdough English muffins, which is typically a weekly occurrence because we do go through it a lot. Some of it we will freeze. It does really great in the freezer. And so I'll have some of those on hand as well as some of the artisan bread. And then also our sourdough bagels. A lot of our meals, I don't even measure the ingredients anymore. And so this was just like some meat that we had left over in our freezer. So I went ahead and put it in our Instant Pot and just cooked it in there so that it would be tender. Then I added Italian seasoning, some parsley, some garlic powder, onion powder, added cumin, and then I went ahead and made some of our homemade buns. Now back to what paint can do. This is our laundry room and our bathroom. I have wanted to paint the little beadboard, but I haven't because I knew that this room was going to basically be gutted, just like a lot of the other rooms. I don't know when that's going to happen, but slowly my husband has removed like the ceiling. Again, you can't see it here, but he removed the drywall off the ceiling because he was doing some plumbing work. Behind the washer and dryer there was this shelf. So I went ahead and cleaned it, primed it, and then painted it with some trim paint, and it looked so much better. Here's the after. Since I have the Silhouette Portrait vinyl cutter, I went ahead and cut these letters out, and I thought they turned out really well. And then I just went crazy and started putting labels on everything. I put it also on our rag bin, which this bucket is really useful. We don't have to fold our rags. We just put them straight in there. Everybody knows where it is. They're clean. They're usable for dusting, for wiping up spills. So again, when we have certain areas designated for certain things, it's a lot easier to keep the home nice and tidy. And then we have more time for this, and that is just learning and growing together as a family. Well, I appreciate you watching this video. I hope that you got something out of it and that you will continue to follow along. If you are new to our channel, please make sure to hit that subscribe button for more inspiration for holistic living through back to basics for the home, heart, and health. See you next time in the Hollow.